Welcome back to GDT Tech Reviews. In this video we are going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best handheld game consoles, 2022. So let us get started and the review based on our studies and small research. If you have any personal suggestion, do let us know in the comment section. If you are for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. So let's get started. The major difference between the Nintendo Switch Lite and the original Nintendo Switch is that the Switch Lite is solely a handheld device. Therefore, the Switch Lite is much more compact and lighter than its predecessor. The Switch Lite measures 91.1 mm by 208 mm by 13.9 mm and weighs 275 grams, compared to the 102 mm by 239 mm by 13.9 mm dimensions and 297 grams weight of the original Switch. This means the device comes with a smaller LCD touchscreen too, measuring just 5.5 inches but still providing 1280 by 720 pixels. In other words, it's a smaller screen than the original Switch's 6.2 inches, but with the same resolution, so you're not losing anything in terms of picture quality. In fact, this gives the Switch Lite a pixel density of 267 pixels per inch, p, a bit sharper than the original Switch's 236p. However, the trade-off is that it can sometimes be difficult to read small in-game writing on the smaller screen. We found ourselves having to hold the console closer to our face to read some text. It's a small issue, but slightly odd for onlookers on a morning commute. But where the Switch Lite truly shines is that it feels more comfortable as a handheld device. The original 2DS had something of a divisive design, with its flat, wedge-like shape that had both of the system screens placed on a single, non-foldable plane. Getting your own hands on it was really the only way to see if you liked what Nintendo was attempting to do, with many finding it to be quite a comfortable piece of kit. That said, there's no beating the tried and true clamshell design that Nintendo has been rocking since the Game & Watch era. This foldable design has been a mainstay of every DS and 3DS system that Nintendo has ever released, and we're glad to see it applied to the 2DS line for the very first time. In terms of size, the new 2DS XL is only slightly smaller than its three-dimensional counterpart. The new 2DS XL is 6.4 inches tall while open and 3.4 inch tall while closed, compared to 6.78 inches tall while open and 3.7 inches tall while closed on the new 3DS XL. All other dimensions are the same, however, there are a few noticeable differences in design between the two. The first thing you'll probably spot is that the new 2DS XL's hinge now protrudes from the unit's body while closed. On previous iterations, the hinge sits flush with the handheld spine and shoulder buttons. That's hardly a deal breaker, though it does mean that the new 2DS XL loses a bit of its sleekness, resulting in a handheld that doesn't feel quite as nice to hold when shut. Open the new 2DS XL up and you'll see the top screen now has a much smaller bezel. This is because the front-facing camera and mic have been moved down to the hinge, which is probably another reason why it now sticks out. The placement is not a big deal when it comes to taking selfies, though you may have to tilt your head forward to avoid the double chin effect. The design of the GPD XD Plus is pretty good. It is made out of high-quality parts. Some people will think that it is a bit clustered and even looks a bit outdated, but others are fine with it. The best feature, and the most obvious, is that 5 screen. This thing is bright, has good quality images, and it works extremely well at night. It is built to display the nostalgic colors of older games. The control panel has 2 analog sticks that are easy to play with and feel like they won't break easily. They are rubberized, which helps with gameplay. They are of a pretty good size and are placed well to help reduce hand strain and fatigue while playing. You can play on the GPD XD Plus for a long period of time and you won't get cramping. Unfortunately, that is where the good stuff stops. Alongside the sticks, there are your traditional LR button, volume, settings, and power on. These buttons feel a bit cheaper. They are pretty average and feel like any lower-end controller or handheld that you've played. The Nintendo Switch OLED makes a great impression as soon as you turn it on. The gorgeous new 7-inch display draws you in with its super slim bezels, perfect blacks, and vivid colors, to the point that you'll wonder how you ever made do with the original Switch's lackluster LCD panel. But it isn't just the alluring OLED display that makes this love at first sight. The enhanced speakers, which are now hidden neatly underneath the console's main attraction, are noticeably impressive. The Switch's iconic click has never sounded so crisp and clear, and we didn't feel the immediate urge to reach for a pair of headphones when playing our favorite games. We also enjoyed the console's completely redesigned kickstand, which is now across the entire rear of the unit. It's reminiscent of Microsoft's excellent adjustable stands on its Surface line of devices, and it comfortably bests the original Switch's flimsy little plastic stand, which could barely prop the console up. With that in mind, it's a massive upgrade for tabletop mode users, and helps to elevate the console's overall build quality in the process. The 64GB of internal storage is another big tick in our book, as you're getting twice as much space as in the original Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite. However, it's still a miserable amount compared to the likes of the PS5 and Xbox Series X, which offer far faster storage at significantly higher capacities. Thankfully, though, the console still comes with a microSD slot, so you can always add more if you need it. So far, so good, then. But Nintendo has shamelessly overlooked one of the three core pillars of the Switch experience, TV mode, and the new console is a hard sell as a result. The company has seen fit to redesign the console's dock, adding smoother edges, a LAN port for those who like to play online, and more breathing room for the console to rest inside comfortably. But you're still capped to a 1080p output, as there's no 4K upscaling, nor any other benefits for Switch players who prefer playing on their televisions. It means that whenever you dock the Nintendo Switch OLED, all of its main selling points are suddenly null and void, which kind of boggles the mind considering that this is a console that's supposed to cater to three types of play equally well. The lack of 4K output subsequently leads to a question that Nintendo will be unable to avoid when it comes to the Switch OLED: why are the internal specifications the same as the original Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite? The Nintendo Switch has a fairly unremarkable design, rectangles mixed with a few softer curves, all rendered in matte plastics. You can choose the neon color option, whose blue and red Joy-Con controllers give it a bit more personality, or the plainer all-gray version, which gives a more cohesive look to the console. Either way, the centerpiece of the Switch is a gray rectangle with the display on it. The dock, a rather dull rectangle of black plastic by default, is more interesting than its appearance would indicate. There's a space for the Switch to slide into, which contains a hidden USB Type-C connector, plus a port for the AC adapter to attach. The side and back of the dock contain a total of 3 USB ports for plugging in accessories and an HDMI output to connect to your monitor or TV, covered by a molded flap that aims to keep your cables tidy. See our recommendations for the best gaming TVs to find the best match for the Switch mechanically. However, the Switch is very smart. With the Joy-Cons attached to its side rails, the console behaves like a large handheld. Alternatively, you can slide the Joy-Cons off and use them separately in tabletop mode. When you play this way, you can lay the Switch flat, or prop it up on its built-in stand. Finally, there's TV mode, where the console plugs into the included dock to play your games on a separate display. This is the only way you're able to play your games at their maximum 1080p resolution. In handheld mode, they default to 720p, but the console's portability is very useful. It's how many other Switch users and I tend to play. Handheld mode is so prevalent that Nintendo's newer Switch Lite cannot dock to a TV at all. With the Joy-Cons attached, the Switch measures 4 by 9.4 by 0.55 inches, 10.1 by 23.8 by 1.3 centimeters, and weighs 0.88 pounds, around 400 grams, making it the smallest and lightest main console of this generation. The built-in display is a 720p LCD screen and is also a touchscreen, with the processing handled by an NVIDIA custom Tegra CPU. Both Joy-Con controllers use rechargeable batteries, estimated to have a 20-hour life and to charge to full capacity in around 3.5 hours. You can power up the Joy-Cons by either plugging them into the side rails in the main Switch console or into various specially designed accessories, most of which are sold separately. The system comes with a single Joy-Con holder, which approximates the look and feel of a traditional controller. The Nintendo Switch is not as powerful as the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, let alone the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X. However, thanks to its popular exclusive franchises and unique play opportunities, the Switch doesn't have to match the competition's graphical abilities to draw in players.